Good morning. Welcome back to American Beef Ranch. I am Jesse. Today we are fourth cutting hay. It's that time of year. It's really cool this morning. It's supposed to be nice and warm though today, but we're at the end of September. Water's getting shut off in a week or so, and we've got some hay to make. So today we're cutting some hay. But first, last night we had, at like 11:30, we had this terrible howling, screeching noise. Thought it was the dogs. Walked outside, found all the dogs. It wasn't the dogs. We had two coyotes like right here, which house is right there. We had two coyotes like right here. So I walked outside and I had a flashlight on my pew and I shined the light and they shut up really fast. And then they I started seeing movement, saw them seem to sneak off. Well, there's a pivot getting put up right here. We put it up, we just got to finish water, power, and plumbing it in and stuff. Anyway, once one of them got out here far enough away from the pivot, so I wasn't going to shoot at the pivot, I did pew at him, and I'm just going to walk out here. Like I said, I don't know if I hit him or not, or if the coyote is taken care of. I didn't scare them, so that's good. I'm gonna walk out here and look and see if I can find anything. I'll let you guys know. I don't think I'm gonna find anything. I think I missed because it was dark and I didn't find anything. That's okay though. But today we're cutting hay with this. This is a John Deere W235, and it's a really nice piece of equipment. It's 2021 and it's pretty awesome. I'm not a big John Deere guy, but these swathers they're making are pretty good. And yes, this is a really nice piece of equipment. And no, it's not mine. I'm fortunate enough that I have a cousin who he's a pretty big farmer, but also he's a pretty big farmer, but he's got a big custom farm that works for a dairy. And anyway, the big custom farm that works for the dairy, they have 8 of these, 6 of these. So I'm fortunate enough that he's gonna let me use this, because ever since my swather took a poop, so this will be the second time. So third and fourth cutting I've done with, fourth cutting I will do with this. And so I'm an organic farm, so basically what I do is yesterday I went and picked it up. I went and checked the head and the rest of the equipment, make sure there was no hay here or anything that could contaminate my organic crop. And then once that's done, I just cut like normal. And when I'm done, I wash it off, clean it up, take it back. So I'm gonna let it warm up for a minute and head to the field, which is right here. So I'm gonna show you how this works. So basically up here, this little switch is the PTO, and that turns on the head. The head's turning now. Then we go full throttle, and we want to set how short our crop's going to get cut, and that's right here on the head. So I like it about right there, not super short. Between 4 and 5 for me, that's where I cut it, and then set it on the ground, which is easy. You got these 2 buttons, 2 and 1. 1 picks the head up all the way, 2 sets it down all the way. Those are the buttons I use to pick up and drop the head, and then we just take off. Okay, headlands are done. So that's these rows. These are the end rows. I call them headlands. There's a lot of different ways to do this. If you're running a small baler, you can get away with 2. I run a big baler, so I like to do 4. The reason I like to do 4 is because some people only do 3, and then they rake, like when you rake, and then you rake the end of the row in. But I found that when you cut the end of the row off with the rake and rake it into your headland rows, that that what it does is if you rake the rows that run, you know, the rows that are going along here into the third row, I found that it makes clumps, like really big clumps, and I don't like that. This is a lot more consistent. And the reason, obviously, we make the headlands is so we can turn around. Where I live, we have pivots. So basically what we do is we put headlands all the way around the edge of the field and then along the pivot, and then we just basically make almost full circles back and forth. So this swather will run around this pivot track all the way to right there. And because the first pivot track is this first pivot track is all the way around, there's no blocks in between it. You just go back and forth between the pivot. And then sometimes, like in other spots in the field, you'll hit obstacles, and then basically you just make more headlands around those. And you can decide whether you want 4 there or just 2, or however you want to do it. Depends on if you're raking or somebody else is raking, or if you're working for somebody, how you set that up. So I'm going to put the camera down, get you guys set up, and we're going to do some more hay cutting. Okay, I've got all the easy part done, which is like the first tower and like 4 rows of the second tower. And now I'm running into other stuff. And which really sucks about this whole deal, right, is if I was just making circles back and forth the whole day, you eat up ground. Like, it's super fast. Once you get the headlands cut, like, it makes everything go super quick. As soon as you hit something else and you got to go around it and make more headlands, it takes up so much time. And that's why, like, not this field's okay. It's bad. I don't like it. The field right there, right by on the other side of this shed, is okay. And then I got a field up over there on top of the hill that we'll go to later, that literally there is so much headland, it takes forever because there's just so many rocks. And this winter, we're going to work on getting rid of those. So I'm going to finish this field, and then I'll check back in when I start the next field. So just hold on a minute, and I'll be right back. Well, I'm about done with this first field, and I figured I better talk about what we do here. See, I've cut all the way around, and now I have this strip under the pivot. So literally what we do is we come over to the pivot control box, this guy, and I want it to go that way, which counterclockwise to reverse. Turn it to reverse. I got my speed turned up pretty high, and I started. And I see that the pivot's moving, so what I'll do is I move it out of the way, and then I'll stop it over here somewhere, and then I'll cut this last. But I'll leave the pivot over there, and then I come back when I rake in a few days. I'll rake this first, move the pivot over the top of it, and then rake the rest of the field. And that's how you take care of a pivot, circle pivot. Half pivots are a little different. If you have to cut them, you just move them out of the way, cut 2 rows, swing it up against this pivot stop, and then you cut 4 on the outside of that, for the way that I do it anyway. But I'm lucky, my half pivots over here that I'm going to next, they don't stop on cropland. Like, they stop in rocks and stuff, so I don't even have to worry about that, which is really nice. So yeah, anywho's, I'm almost there. Miles an hour all day long. Look at those rows. It's 2 down, 1 field to go. Looking pretty good out there. The yield's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be great. It's not gonna be earth shattering or anything like that. It's gonna be okay. I think my estimate for what we're gonna get on all 4 fields that I've got to cut. I'm only cutting 3 today, but I got 4 to do for myself. I think it's gonna be pretty close, so that's good. But swather's running good. Everything, you know. So we got 1 more to go. It's almost noon. I started at 8, so we're averaging We're averaging over 10 acres an hour right now. Or 10 acres an hour basically right now, which is good. Especially with the headland stuff I gotta deal with. Pain in the butt. Anywho's, so up to the next field. Whoa, this is gonna be some really good stuff. This is probably gonna test pretty good too. You know, it's really exciting to see that. I grew up, you know, on a ranch kind of, and we didn't even make our own hay, which is kind of foreign, but we didn't. Now, like, my family's farmed for years, but I never really was a part of it, and it's kind of cool to see something that you planted grow, and then you're getting to harvest it and, you know, make money. Like, we're gonna make money actually this year. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. It's expensive to farm and everything's up, obviously, but it's pretty cool. So I've got a whole bunch of headlands done on this field. This one takes forever because there is so many headlands. I'm gonna set you guys up and just let you watch me knock out some rows here for a while, and then I don't know what else we can get into, but the hay's looking good. I'm excited. Okay, there's a lot of downsides to a modern disc mower swather, self-propelled like this, like the cost and the amount of fuel they use and other things, but there is quite a bit of benefits. Number one, a disc header is tough. Way tougher than a sickle bar ever dreamed of. Like, there's things you hit and you go, ugh, and it sounds like it hurts and it should hurt, but the thing just keeps eating hay. The other thing, you want me to show you the other thing? I can show you the other thing. Look at that, that's 8.2, and guess what? It goes faster. I can literally cut it 12 miles an hour if the field's smooth enough. Like, I can just cruise. Look at that, 11 miles an hour, slower back, lift the head. Let's flip around, let me show you. Like 10 miles an hour, I've been cutting at 10 miles an hour most of the day. The only thing that really slows me down is seriously how rough the field is. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Let's back her up. Back her up. This is kind of hard to drive one-handed. This is really hard to drive one-handed. Okay, back up. There we go. 2 drops the head. We'll push her forward. Get her lined up. Hydrostatic. I don't like driving hydrostatic stuff. Okay, but like this is 5 miles an hour, right? This is like all you could ever expect out of a sickle mower ever is 5 miles. If you get in this kind of hay, this thick of hay, 5 miles an hour, that would be awesome. But I can literally cut, there's 11.5 miles an hour. And we're just cruising along. I'm not saying this is the thickest hay in the world, but slow her down a little. Like I said, right around 10 miles an hour. It's awesome. Super awesome. So now, while I love my old school swather with a Cummins 4BT in it, these things just eat hay. Like, eat it. It's great, and they're super fast. Anyway, I'm gonna keep knocking out these rows. I've only got, I don't know, 3 or 4 acres left. Maybe 5, probably 5 acres left. I get that done, we'll look at it, and then I think that's it for the day. There we are, all cut, ready to go. I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching. You guys make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, all that stuff. I'll put some other videos in the description and other things that you should check out. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And hopefully my drone, I broke my drone. Hopefully I get my drone fixed so in a week that when I have to cut again in about a week, I can get some drone footage for you guys. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on American Beef Ranch.